to BitmapGraphics and EditingTools, a presentation created by Gustavo Sacramento, Gustavo Tate, and Asher DeGreen. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to cover BitmapGraphics first, and then Gustavo's going to do editing tools. So let's start off with BitmapGraphics. There are a couple terms you need to know to understand. First, think of a bitmap graph as an overlay of a picture with each individual grid being a pixel. And these pixels may vary in size, and more importantly, the larger the image or video is, the greater amount of individual pixels there are. Pixels are tiny components that fill a bitmap graph, those tiny parts as I explained. In the bottom here, you can see in this little image, we give an example. The black and whites are the pixels, and each pixel contains data in binary, which is data comprised of zeros and ones. Each pixel can represent a different color comprised of the data within it. Each pixel may have different data, maybe repeat pixels, and the more pixels there are, the more data there are. Now, here are the traits of a bitmap. It's resolutional dependent, which means if you enlarge a picture, the quality will go down. If you reduce it, it will get better. Now, here's why. We explain it here. Here. When you reduce a picture, you remove pixels. When you enlarge a picture, you create new pixels. The problem is, the reason why pictures look worse is because the computer would have to do something called interpolation, where the computer has to guess the color values of pixels. So it's creating more pixels to compromise. But computers aren't perfect, it doesn't look nice. Now, don't get this confused with scaling. It doesn't change the number of pixels, but makes the individual pixels larger. Problem with this is if you make a picture very large by making the pixels larger, the pictures look jaded and it looks like a coloring book. Now, here are some benefits to bitmaps. First, they're easily convertible. Why? Because all bitmaps are basically small rectangular pixels. It's very easy to convert to other files. It's the easiest one to save as. Some examples are JPEG, PNG, and other formats. Now, the problem with bitmaps is that they're not transparent. Because of the pixel value, you can't really see if there's any other pixel behind that. It's binary. It's 1 or 0. There's other methods to do this that don't rely on bitmaps, such as vectors, but that's not what the presentation here is to cover. Now, editing with bitmaps is very easy because it's a grid. It's similar to translating functions on a chorded graph, because that's basically what a bitmap is. And it edits bitmap graphs means by editing the individual pixels. Now, Mustafa will cover editing.
So the three types of editing tools are photo editors, video editors, and audio editors. Now, photo editors come in a lot of different categories, but this is based off of one particular aspect in a lot of these categories. So the first example is photo enhancers, and those automatically take a raw picture and they improve them. So rather than a person manually going through and changing things and altering them on their own, the computer does it automatically. An example of this is Photo Lemur. Now, the next few categories, online editors, free desktop editors, and so on, including photo editing mobile apps, basically perform the same function. The only difference, they usually have little differences. For example, online editors are editors that are photo editors that are on websites. So they're all browser accessible. Free desktop editors and paid desktop editors are more or less the same in that they're downloaded. The only difference is whether they're paid for or not. Now, an example of this is Photoshop versus Photoscape, where Photoscape costs no money and Photoshop does. HDR photo editors take HDR photos, which are duplicate photos for manual editing, and allow for that editing. And next up is cross-platform image editors, which are basically the same, except that they're accessible both on Windows and Mac, which is important for some people's workflow. And finally, photo editing mobile apps perform the same function, except that they're done on mobile phones and smartphones. Moving on, photo filters are everything from Snapchat and Instagram to Creative Kit 2016. Essentially, they just overlay a filter on top of a picture. These are, at this point, fairly ubiquitous. RAW processors take pictures from HDR cameras and DSLR cameras, and they allow for a person to manually alter the picture. So, for an example here is rawpics.io. It takes that raw picture and allows you to alter it yourself. And finally, there are a number of these, and these are generally installed automatically on both Windows and Apple. Photo viewers and managers just organize your pictures and allow for you to look at them. Moving on, video editors. The first choice is Windows Movie Maker. And this is free for Windows, which is important because it's not cross-platform. but it's very well liked and it's very popular because of its effects, transitions, titles and credits, and easy usage. VirtualDub is open source and free, which means that you're able to customize it yourself and you're able to write code for it yourself without any copyright infringement. However, VirtualDub also has a number of professional features such as compression, video splitting, addition of audio tracks. It's very good at dealing with large files. Finally, just to show how wide a range there are in video editors, is Blender, which is a free open source 3D content creator, which allows for a number of professional tools, such as modifier-based modeling tools, node-based material, and powerful character animation. This is also cross-platform, so you can work on it for both Windows and Mac. Finally is audio editors, which includes Audacity, which is completely free. It has a simple UI, and it's on school computers, so we have probably the most experience with this particular audio editor. Next is Adobe Audition, which is included with the Adobe Creative Suite. The benefits to using this one are that it has tools such as multi-track editing and mixing environment, and a similar UI to other Adobe products, which can be beneficial if you're used to using them, and it includes expert tutorials, which help in learning how to use it. Finally, Linux Multimedia Studio, which is completely free. It's open source, so this is also the sort of application where you can change the code, and it has a professional UI and available plugins. By professional UI, I mean I have no idea what's going on when I look at the screen. And these are the websites I cite when doing my research. Thank you, and have a nice day.